Hi, my name is Nathan, and today we're going to do a comic book review of Spawn, number 318, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. In the previous issue, in 317, the island that Spawn and Medieval Spawn were fighting on with Omega Spawn had become too unstable after their fight. Spawn needs to regain his strength, plus Spawn had some unanswered questions about what appeared on the island, not to mention Medieval Spawn's true motive. In Spawn's sanctuary, Medieval Spawn asks, what place is this? Is it safe? Spawn, not trusting his medieval ass, says to him, it depends on what you came to the island for. Medieval Spawn says he came to help, but Spawn tells him he didn't ask for any help. Tell him, Spawn. Spawn fights to keep his balance because his power was sapped from traveling in the dark with Medieval Spawn. Spawn clearly is having trust issues with Medieval Spawn over here. Wants answers. Just because you fought by my side, bro, doesn't mean I just trust you. Medieval Spawn tells him that most of us are here because of your actions, and he thought it would be wise to keep them alive and help get them all back where they came from. Elsewhere in the complex, there's She-Spawn. She looks like a Spawn version of Black Widow and the Punisher. I think I could get jiggy with that. Actually, I definitely can get jiggy with that. The readings on the computer don't make sense, and she concludes Mark is here. She runs and is stopped when she sees Medieval Spawn and Spawn about to go at it. Get him, Spawn. She-Spawn pulls out her pistol and tells him to back the F off. Something about this woman in firearms, I'm just saying. Medieval Spawn tells her to lower her weapon because her weapon can't hurt him. She responds with maybe, but I bet your armor doesn't cover your nutsack, so move! She asks where's Mark, and Spawn says he has to be here. He can't shadow travel without one of us. Clearly now they're trying to find Mark and get over one another's trust issues. She-Spawn, aka Jessica, doesn't trust Medieval Spawn either. After the standoff, Medieval Spawn tells her to go help Spawn find a friend. He gave her his word that he won't move. Well, I guess there's still honor among Spawns. After a slight stare down, she decides to go help Spawn and reminds him to don't go anywhere. Spawn doesn't like the fact that she left Medieval Spawn alone and reminds her that he tried to kill him. She also reminds Spawn that he also saved him, and you're both even, so get over it. She's more concerned about Mark. I like this character. Eventually, a loud noise catches their attention, and guess who it is? Your boy Mark. She-Spawn, Jessica, asks Mark if he's okay and why he's sitting here. He says he was looking at his laptop and he was here. He can't remember why or how he ended up here. Mark asks She-Spawn why she's still in costume, and she says, I just got back, and she reverts to normal form. Now that's what Black Widow and Punisher looks like in woman form. Where were you at on Valentine's Day? Joking aside, I like how she can be rough around the edges and still have compassion too, and yet she's still no nonsense. Spawn still has his issues with She-Spawn showing compassion. She's not having it. And Spawn goes to check on Medieval Spawn. You think he's still in the same spot? Her last question to Mark is, why were his glasses in the lab? We're gonna go back to that. When Spawn gets back to where Medieval Spawn's supposed to be, he sees his armor on the ground, and whoever was in that suit has now escaped. Spawn feels like someone is playing games and he has no mood to play. It ain't recess. Spawn leaves the scene and sees Cygor on chains, and he asks who would be able to get so close to be able to torture him. That's a grown-ass gorilla, yo. Spawn goes to rescue. She-Spawn realizes that Mark's been blacked out for over 3 hours during their conversation, and somewhere in that time he went to the lab or someone dragged him there, unless there's another reason his glasses were on the floor. Mark's memory is slowly starting to come back on what was on the screen, and it's possible it had something to do with Spawn's mission. Something about the data on the screen wasn't matching up to the energies tracker they were following, and possibly new targets that were popping up. Spawn shows up pissed that Krygor is hanging and demands answers, and he's getting tired of stuff happening when he's gone. She-Spawn tells him to take a breath, and he ain't having none of it. Spawn says by taking a breath, they can keep advancing their agenda and their forces while we sit on our hands. He explains on the other side will do anything for victory. He reminds her that that other side killed Mark's girlfriend, killed Spawn's wife Wanda, and they kill anyone and everyone you care about. Then they'll disguise themselves as children of old ladies, anything that'll gain your sympathy. Do you want to take a breather? Do it away from me. I ain't got time for this. Spawn is obviously hardened and tells Jessica to don't trust your eyes because you may have to shoot a 5-year-old. He even tells her to shoot him if it comes to that. She-Spawn leaves the scene. It might be kind of hairy for her, but even though she's compassionate, she also has a no sense kind of attitude. I dig it. Mark tells Spawn that he needs to show him something in the computers. He's been tracking as many targets as he could, but one area seems to be a conduit for new manifestations like some kind of a portal. The island that Spawn just came from. Mark shows on the screen that the targets keep disappearing and reappearing there, but it's not clear if it's the same thing or something different. Spawn concludes they must know we're on their track, and then maybe that's why Mark blacked out and they're exerting their powers trying to get into my headquarters. Though that doesn't explain the presence of medieval Spawn, Spawn decides to further look into this. There's more where that came from, but I got to leave a little meat on the bone for you guys and girls, because this book definitely caught my attention, definitely intriguing. With that being said, I enjoyed the book. I'm kind of curious to see what other characters will be introduced and what Spawn's investigation leads to. But with that being said, Spawn, issue number 318. If you read the comic, what you think of the comic book, comment below, let us know. If you haven't gotten a copy of your comic, go ahead and get your copy at RatedComics.com, link in description. If you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.